This video is brought to you by supporters on Patreon. Pledge today and get shoutouts, requested reviews, and more.
After the garbage fire that was Devil May Cry 2, I really need a pick-me-up. Thankfully, the next game in the marathon is Devil May Cry 3, often regarded as the best game in the series, and it's also the only game that I have any history with, as I borrowed it from a friend back in 8th grade. Thanks, Robbie. Now, I haven't played this game in years, so my memory's a little fuzzy on it. So, let's take a look and see if this game holds up as well as I think it does, or if it's just my nostalgia messing with me. But before that, once again, let's take a look at a little history.
Capcom was well aware of Devil May Cry 2's negative reception from critics and fans alike, and obviously wanted to win the crowd back with the next installment. While Hideaki Itsuno remained as director and would keep that position for the rest of the series, everything else saw a complete overhaul. The combat system was expanded upon, Dante's characterization was changed to be more in line with his portrayal in Devil May Cry 1, the plot was simplified, and the difficulty was ramped up to quell complaints that Devil May Cry 2 was too easy. The end result was Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening, a prequel that covers how Dante got started in the demon-slaying business. 1 year later in 2006, the game was re-released as Devil May Cry 3 Dante's Awakening Special Edition, try saying that 3 times fast, with tweaked difficulty levels that made it more accessible to newcomers, new gameplay modes, and a new playable character, Dante's brother Virgil. This is the version I'll be reviewing as it was included in the HD collection, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll only be covering Dante's mode, as Virgil's mode is simply Dante's levels and bosses, but with different weapons and abilities at your disposal, with no proper story to speak of. As usual, skip to the point on screen to avoid spoilers. Devil May Cry 3 opens with Dante in his office wondering what he should name his new business, when a mysterious man named Arkham enters, claiming that Dante's brother Virgil is looking for him. He disappears and leaves Dante an invitation in the form of some demons. Dante fights off the demons and decides that he'll go after Virgil, knowing that he's up to no good. Indeed, Virgil is up to something, namely raising Temin Nigru, a tower that serves as an entrance to the exact location in the underworld where Sparta left his sword, so he can claim his father's power and rule over humanity. At the same time, a young human woman named Mary is heading toward the tower as well. Dante fights his way up the tower, gathering devil arms along the way, and occasionally crossing paths with both the woman and a trickster demon known only as Jester. Dante reaches the top of Temin Nigru, and has a showdown with Virgil, and is promptly defeated. Virgil takes Dante's medallion, one of the keys needed to open the entrance to the underworld, and leaves. However, Dante survives, having awakened his inner devil form. He's swallowed by a leviathan, fights his way out, meets the woman again, and after some banter dubs her Lady. Dante fights his way through the tower yet again. Meanwhile, Virgil has reached the seal that holds the gate to the underworld shut. He stabs Arkham, claiming that he no longer has any use for him, and proceeds to offer his own blood to break the seal. Lady comes across Arkham, who wakes up. It was revealed earlier that Arkham is Lady's father, who killed her mother as a sacrifice to gain demonic power. However, Arkham tells her that he was possessed by Virgil, and that he never meant to cause any harm.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Dante reaches Virgil, who is currently throwing a tantrum because the seal won't break, even though he has everything he needs. The two brothers face off again, but are interrupted by Lady, who intends to kill Virgil for corrupting her father and causing the death of her mother. Right then, however, Arkham intervenes, revealing that he was the mastermind behind everything all along. He was actually Jester. He lured all 3 of them to Temin Nigru because they each have a part of the key needed to break the seal so he can claim Sparta's power for himself. And that Lady is the descendant of a priestess that Sparta sacrificed to seal the gate to the underworld, meaning that her blood is the final piece needed. Whew. He stabs her in the leg, the seal is opened, and Arkham escapes to the underworld. Dante goes after Arkham, with Lady offering her rocket launcher to him as help. Dante reaches the location of Sparta's sword, but is too late. Arkham has already claimed it, and has been transformed by its power. He and Dante battle, but Dante is no match for the corrupted Arkham. That is, until Virgil intervenes and teams up with Dante. The two brothers combine their powers to finish off Arkham once and for all, and they have one last duel to decide the fate of the human world. Dante defeats Virgil once again, and the gate begins to close. Virgil decides to stay behind, putting Dante's safety over his own. Dante escapes back to the human world and rendezvous with Lady. He sheds a tear for Virgil's sacrifice, showing Lady that not all demons are inherently evil. The two fight off some straggling demons while the credits roll, and in the epilogue, we see Dante in his Devil May Cry 1 outfit finally opening his office for business, dubbing it Devil May Cry after a line that Lady said to console him. Meanwhile, in the underworld, Virgil comes across Mundus from the first game, and prepares to face off against it, directly leading into the events of Devil May Cry 1.
This is, without a doubt, the best story that Devil May Cry has had so far. It's simple, but still engaging, it has twists that are properly foreshadowed, and while it does retcon some events from previous games, it does so in a much better way than how they were presented in the first place.
What really helps make this story so gripping is the excellent cast and characterization. Dante in this game is portrayed by Ruben Langdon, who would go on to become the defining voice for Dante, reprising the role in Devil May Cry 4, the Marvel vs. Capcom series, and the Devil May Cry anime. Since Dante is much younger this time around, he's a lot more cocky and arrogant, which leads to him being a highly entertaining lead. He nails his performance too, due to not only providing Dante's voice, but his motion capture as well. Virgil is played by Daniel Southworth, who Power Rangers fans may recognize as the Quantum Ranger from Power Rangers Time Force. His lower, more pompous tone compared to Dante's brash, energetic demeanor perfectly counters him, while still serving as an intimidating villain. Lady is played by veteran voice actress Kari Wahlgren, who absolutely nails her role, simultaneously being able to show not only the tough exterior that Lady shows off toward her enemies, but her softer side that she lets out when the issue of her past is brought up. She also has excellent chemistry with Dante, making her by far the most intriguing female character the series has seen yet. Finally, Adam Clark plays a dual role as both Arkham and his alter ego Jester, sounding appropriately cold or manic when the situation calls for it. The music has seen a massive step up in quality compared to the previous two installments. Without gushing about it too much, these are the kind of songs that not only serve as perfect backing tracks for slaying monsters, but they're the kind I'd love to just listen to while on a road trip. Everything is fantastic, from the church-like tune played in the intro, to the various heavy metal battle themes, some of which even have vocals this time. The graphics are of higher quality than the past two games as well, really pushing what the PS2 was capable of with detailed character models and environments, as well as smooth animations. All of the cutscenes are done in-engine as well, so there's none of that jarring shift to the prettier, pre-rendered CGI like you saw in Devil May Cry 1 and 2. Even though most of the game is spent inside the tower, the level design is still well done enough that each section of it feels like its own unique world, and nothing ever blends together. Once again, the combat system has been revamped, but in a much better fashion this time. There's a higher focus on chaining long combos together for higher style ratings, and you now have a gauge that fills up as you chain different attacks and dodges together to show how close you are to reaching the next ranking. Dante can equip 2 devil arms and 2 guns at once, freely switching between them with the trigger buttons, allowing for some insane combos. By far the biggest change is the different combat styles available to you. At the beginning you have 4. Trickster, a fast style that allows you to easily dodge enemy attacks. Swordmaster, a slower style that increases the power of your melee attacks. Gunslinger, which increases the power of your guns and gives you extra techniques with them, and Royal Guard, which sacrifices attack power in favor of defensive options. Along the way you gain 2 new styles, Quicksilver, which slows down time at the cost of Devil Trigger energy, and Doppelganger, which summons a shadow clone that either copies your moves or can be controlled by a second player. The combat styles can be switched between at divinity statues, and can be leveled up by defeating enemies, unlocking further abilities. It's perfectly feasible to beat the game using only one style, meaning that you can experiment with each one to see what works for you. I found Trickster worked perfectly with my gameplay style, so that's what I stuck with. Devil May Cry 3 brings back the difficulty of the first game, but is far more balanced. It starts out easy enough, but once you reach the first boss battle, it cranks it up to 11 and stays there for the rest of the game. To balance this out, You're offered multiple difficulty levels and 2 different options for how revival orbs work, depending on what kind of challenge you're looking for. The game is still plenty difficult on the easy setting, so don't get too comfortable just because you seem to be breezing your way through everything. I should note here that the initial PS2 release had its difficulty raised outside of Japan, but the special edition and HD versions are in line with the original Japanese release, so if you want a true test of your skill, track down that version. Devil Arms are back from Devil May Cry 1, and far more emphasis is placed on them this time as opposed to 1 and 2. Each Devil Arm has not only an element, but its own completely unique fighting style, ranging from fast but weak hits with the Cerberus nunchucks, to slow but powerful punches and kicks with the Beowulf gauntlets, to a tricky-to-master but insanely effective mix of ranged and melee attacks with one of the coolest weapon concepts in video game history, the Nevin Electric Guitar Scythe. Along the way, you'll run into statues known as Combat Adjudicators, which can only be destroyed by racking up combos with their corresponding Devil Arm, which not only rewards you with blue orb fragments for breaking them, but stealthily serves as a way to learn how each weapon works and how to effectively chain attacks together. It's a brilliant addition that I can't begin to praise enough. On the other hand, guns have seen a massive downgrade compared to 1 and 2, with most of them being too situational to rely on effectively. I once again stuck with Ebony and Ivory, if only because they fire as fast as you can tap the shoot button, but they don't deal enough damage to be very effective for anything other than delaying your combo meter from lowering, so fans of Dante's ranged arsenal may be a bit disappointed in this regard.
Time to dish out this game's final verdict.
Devil May Cry 3 is the high point of this marathon so far. It's an incredibly fun action game with a balanced difficulty level, an engaging story, kick-ass music, and a wide variety of weapons and techniques to master. Devil May Cry 3 received universally positive reviews, with the special edition in particular being praised for its new content and difficulty balancing. The game sold over 2 million copies worldwide, taking both versions into account, and is regarded as one of the best games on the PlayStation 2. Devil May Cry 3's resounding success would set the standard that the rest of the series would follow, but with the next entry debuting on next-gen consoles, would it be able to live up to the high bar that 3 set?
Tune in next time for Devil May Cry 4. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys then.